Alright, so this is the season and series finale of Titans. Now, it starts off where it ended up last episode, where now I didn't realize they were right outside the temple because, well, it didn't look like a temple from outside. It looked like they were going into a utility room. But it turns out behind the wall, behind the door, was the temple. So I don't know if it's a dimensional thing or it was just created with a facade on the front so it didn't look like a temple. I don't know. But Sebastian had changed the password. At least I assume it was Sebastian. I guess it could have been Mother Mayhem, but... So, Sebastian is now truly Brother Blood. And I had forgotten when I asked why did they try to kill him when, it didn't look like he was planning on using the horn. And I'd forgotten that, and now I forgot it again. That the reason they needed to kill him was because he was draining the life force of the people who played his game, which included Bernard. So he has to die. So that made sense. And so he summons Trigon. Trigon appears and asks him about why he, thank you for summoning me, you're a true son of Trigon. And then in comes Raven. She astral projects into the temple because because Gar is still trying to figure out how to get into the temple. And she tries to convince Sebastian that don't call Trigon. Why are you doing this? You know nothing good is going to come of this. And he said, I need something from him. And it's like, what the hell could he possibly need from Trigon? And then it becomes obvious because within a couple of seconds, he kills Trigon and offers to share his heart with Rachel so it could be them against the world. And so she's like, hard pass, that's not what I'm about. And so he said, suit yourself. So he drinks from the lifeblood, from the heart of Trigon. And Rachel sees that Connor is still lying there. So he drinks from his lifeblood, and then the next scene we see is, well, first Rachel comes. They're trying to make sure Rachel's okay. And then the next scene you see is all of them standing over Connor. And I don't know who was the unlucky person who had to pick Connor up. I mean, I guess it could have been Corey. Corey's really strong. Rachel might have used her magic, but they somehow got him to the RV somehow. And seems like he's dead. His vitals are flat. And Dick has this red kryptonite, which he uses, as he said, like an EpiPen. Only instead of jabbing the thigh, which is what you do when someone's having an allergy attack, he jabs it in his throat. Now, I don't know, I guess red kryptonite, the what it does has changed, because the last I saw it kind of makes you schizo. And I but anyway, this is apparently a healing drug. So they're waiting and waiting, and Dick is so sure that everybody's going to be okay. He makes dinner reservations for that Friday. And so Gar is trying to find Brother Blood's signature. They find it, only to discover that it was a trap. Well, not really a trap, but it was just a red herring. He wanted them to go on a wild goose chase looking for him while he was doing whatever it was he wanted to do. So he's riding his bicycle. Now, I don't know if he abandoned his car at this other facility and that's what, to make it seem like he was really there, or it's just he wanted to be as off-grid as he could, so they couldn't find him. So he rides his bicycle to Star Labs, and he meets one of the doctors there, and uses his epic power, and pointing out that Star Labs destroyed his game, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes on how people like you made fun of me, and now I have power, and so I'm gonna make you pay, blah 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 blah. Ugh. So he kills her, but in doing so, he seems to be attached to everybody. So he kills everyone except for Bernard, who's just now waking up from his coma. So I guess when he did this, well, even before he did this, but at some point his connection to people like Bernard was severed. So he was no longer feeding off of their life force. And so Bernard calls Tim, and thankfully Tim actually paid attention to his cell phone this time. And he gets a call from Bernard, which I'm surprised Bernard, considering their ages, I'm surprised Bernard didn't just quickly text him, because, maybe using your voice, even if you're just whispering, is probably not a good play. But he's walking through Star Labs, and Star Labs looks really, really spooky. And he's telling Tim and the others what's happening. So Gar is driving, and then at some point Corey said, stop the car. Stop the RV. She goes into Dick's car, and Dick follows her, and he's like, and again, you're stealing my car. And it's discussions like this where it bugs the crap out of me. Corey said that, thinking back to when this all happened, and saying, I didn't like you much back then. He goes, I didn't like you either. And she seemed offended and wanted to know why. I'm like, you said the same thing to him. What the hell? He didn't demand an explanation from you. What's going on? So they drive off, and of course the RV is chasing after them, because they get to Star Labs and they're all there. And so Bernard is explaining to them the Icarus Lab. Well, both Bernard and Dick are explaining the Icarus Lab. And basically it's a wormhole. And Trigon, well, Brother Blood, but because he has the essence of Trigon in him, it's basically Trigon, wants to throw the two planets against each other and destroy them both. So they're looking for Brother Blood, and Bernard is back in the, I guess, at mission control, basically. And he's going to help out as much as he can. And so as they're walking, Corey seems to notice something. So she starts walking away, and at first you don't realize anything, but then you notice that she's kind of in a trance, like in her dream, and it's because Brother Blood is controlling her. So the others try to find where Corey is, and they come across, I guess, Brother Blood's security force, which is bizarre, because if he's as powerful as he claims he is a god, why do you need a security force? But anyway, the Titans make quick work of the security force, and they're looking for Corey. And Corey is like, yeah, I'm just not gonna help you. No, I'm not gonna use my powers. You can't make me. And it seems, and as he shows, yes, he can. He connects her forcibly to this machine, which he somehow managed to take control of by doing the same code words that turned him into Brother Blood to begin with. It's a computer. How did he do that? But okay, whatever. So he starts forcibly draining her of her powers, so he can get the power necessary to get the machine running so they can create the wormhole. And as they're doing this, you see Connor still lying on the bed, and Crypto, sweet Crypto, is licking his hand. He's such a good boy. So they find Corey and of course Brother Blood, and they try to stop him while Rachel tries to unhook Corey, which she's the child of Trigon. Why isn't she fighting Sebastian? I mean, wouldn't that make the most sense that the person with powers fights him? And the others try to get Corey out of that contraption. But whatever. So, and Gar's mission is to remove these 3 humongous cables and to unhook them so it wouldn't be getting juice even if they couldn't get Corey out. Now, Gar is just being Gar doing this. I'm sorry, you can become any animal you want. You can become an ape. You can become a bear. He does none of that. He's just Gar. Even though he has a hard time pulling out these cables. It's like, why aren't you using your animal strength? Seriously? Why? I mean, I get it that they're trying to prolong this fight scene, but some nominal logic would be awesome. So, the only time he uses his powers, which, by the way, he can finally shapeshift into a tiger, and it's not green. So you can see that he's improved in his being able to shapeshift. So he's about to fall into the wormhole, and he uses his tentacles to grab onto Tim, and Tim helps him get out of falling into the wormhole. And so they both continue um, to unplug these cables. And again, why are you just used your tentacles. You know that why aren't you using your ape strength or something to unplug the cables? It would be a lot quicker. And so Dick is getting his ass handed to him by Sebastian, which shocking, because it should be Rachel fighting him, not Dick, because she's the one with the magic. She's White Raven. Why isn't she using her powers? Can you scream that they don't have enough money to do the cool stuff anymore? I don't know if at this point they knew they were being canceled. But anyway, so Rachel is able to unhook Corey. Gar is able to unplug the cables. But Dick is having issues, and Sebastian's like, you can't stop me. No, but he can, and you see Connor. And Connor is super pissed off. I'm so glad that they found a nice balance between dark Connor, because I can't really call being pissed off at someone for, trying to destroy the world. I can't exactly call that going dark. But he did have his dark moments when he tried to be more like Lex. So he uses his heat vision, and I was actually concerned that his heat vision might actually make things worse. But they didn't. They just knocked him into something, and it looked like he was being barbecued. He was being electrocuted, but that didn't stick. Because of course it didn't. So Corey's like, yeah, time to sacrifice myself. I mean, that's the other thing that annoyed me with Corey. Nobody said, what was her name, Regina? She never said that she would die doing this, that she's going to sacrifice herself. Corey, for some reason, decided that that's what's going to happen. Because she has this obsession with death, I swear. So, nobody ever said that she was going to die. Regina never said. She said that you wouldn't be the same. Which implies you survive. You just, not necessarily become a different person, but the way either your powers change or your personality or something about you is about to change. Not that you die. So, yeah, that was annoying the fuck out of me. So, Corey grabs Brother Blood, and they go airborne, and she just keeps going, and Dick is like, Corey, where are you going? Where do you think? So they're watching, and they apparently go supernova. Which, of course, everyone assumes that she died, which is a fair assumption, actually. And we immediately see a memory. Now, I don't know if it's the Titans who are collectively remembering this, or if this is a Corey memory. But they have a memory of explaining Christmas to Corey. Now, this is where the timeline confuses me, because Connor wasn't there during the first season. He did not join until the second season. So, then this is the fourth season, so in theory 4 years, but based on this, maybe not. So the timeline's a little weird. I'm a little unsure of it. So they they wait a little bit, and Gar is just bawling. The others are, sad, but they don't show it. And it's weird that Dick is just staring up. I guess he's just waiting to see something. And Gar finally makes him leave, but emotionless. There's no emotion coming from Dick. He's just staring up. So they all go back in. Dick starts going back in. And then he hears a boom, a sonic boom. He turns around and this orange light is coming down. And of course, it's Corey. And he hugs her and they start making out and the rest of them come. And I'm just like, I don't know if I would want to be watching these two make out. I mean, privacy maybe. I realize they're in a public place. They're outside, but okay, that was just weird. Anyway, so they go in, and the next time you see them, it's at dinner. The dinner that Dick made reservations for. And even Krypto is there. So yay, Krypto gets to have a nice dinner too. Because we didn't get to see very much of Krypto. And so then it starts off, everybody's having a good time, and it starts off with Gar saying, I'm leaving. And he wants to learn more about himself, and so he's going into the red. And Rachel even asks him, oh, you're going into the red? Yeah. So then she said that she's leaving as well. And I thought she was going to say she's going to be joining Gar in the red. I really did. But no, she wants to be that she used to be a normal girl. And she wants to go back to that. And Connor, I swear if this was anybody else who said that and said it to anybody else, it would not have been taken this well. But he said, I don't think you were ever a normal girl. And Rachel took it in the light that he meant it, because obviously Connor did not mean it in a bad way. And so she said she's going to enroll in Bloodhaven University. So she's also going back to Gotham. So she's going to Gotham. And then I believe it was Tim's turn to say that, Robin belongs in Gotham. Robin and Gotham are two parts of a whole. Robin belongs in Gotham. And that he would be going between Gotham and Metropolis because, of course, Bernard's in Metropolis. Now, he never once mentioned that, oh, and I'm from Gotham. My family is still in Gotham. No, it's just that's where Robin belongs. Okay? We forgot a significant piece in this puzzle, but whatever. Maybe he just wasn't thinking about his parents at that moment, but okay. So then it's Connor. Connor says that he's also leaving, and Dick is like, oh, Jesus Christ, everybody's abandoning me. And he's finally going to meet up with Superman, and he's hoping that he finally gets these flying lessons. Now, maybe I'm misremembering, or I misunderstood how he saved Jason when they first met. My understanding was he flew. So maybe it was more of a glide that he did at the time. I thought he knew how to fly, but anyway. So he's going to fly. And he then is standing at the balcony. Dick is talking to him, saying, come back to the table. Corey is is ordering every dessert on the menu, which I feel that. I so feel that. I'm going to be going to the Cheesecake Factory for my nephew's graduation, and just about there's like maybe 5 or 6 desserts on that menu that I'm like, ooh, I want to try that. Ooh, I want to try that. So, yeah, I get that. And, so, but Connor was so funny. He was drinking Lex's favorite drink, which I didn't catch what it is. He goes, it sounds better than it tastes. Which does happen with drinks. There are plenty of drinks that they sound really good, and then you try them and you're like, why? So, and Connor is upset that what Superman's going to think of him, because he's not the man that he was when Superman agreed to help him. He doesn't, first off, being that he, is bald now because he used his heat vision to do that. So he looked more like Lex because he was having a time. And Dick is telling him that, don't worry about it. Superman isn't gonna think anything less of you. It's like, well, but what about all the things I've done? And this is where I disagree with what Dick said. He said, you just have to ask yourself, why did you do it? Did you do it for yourself or for other people? Now, anybody who knows Lex knows that he does, I mean, granted, some things he does is selfish, but his whole thing about hating Superman is not anything personal. It's that he, I mean, obviously, if you just know him from the Super Friends and the fact that he hates Superman because he made him bald, in most iterations of the character, Lex doesn't like Superman because people see him as too much of a crutch, and that they no longer feel like they need to try and protect themselves because they have Superman to do it. So yeah, I don't agree with Dick that it's strictly motivation, because there are villains out there who are motivated by what they think is the public good, but they just go about it in a really shitty way. So, yeah. But then we see Connor meeting up with Superman. We just see Superman's boots. And he's learning how to fly. And this time he has a full head of hair. Now, his full of head of hair while he's flying, to me, look different. So I don't know if it's just simply because he was flying, and so the wind was just doing weird things, or if they're implying that he was wearing a wig because he didn't want Superman to think that he did that to his hair. So I don't know. His hair seemed different. So then, after everybody leaves, we see Dick and Corey, and so now we're sort of making good on those visions of them with that little girl, because Dick decides that they should, have a kid. And he points that out by mentioning that Brother Blood said that if a human and a Tamaranian got together, the child would be unstoppable. That's not exactly what he said, but that was a, nice and pretty smooth way of saying, I want you to have my baby. So, and Corey's like, let me buy you a drink first and we'll see what happens from there. So basically they're back together, but they're kind of starting over, I guess. So that was weird, but also cute. And so if they had continued with Titans, and more importantly, if they had done the spin-off to, to the show with Red Hood, I'm pretty sure that Jason would be occasionally getting help from Tim and possibly also Rachel, because they're both in Gotham. I mean, I guess it's possible the rest of the Titans could have shown up, like Dick and Gar, because Gar is literally going to be everywhere at once because he's in the red. So technically anybody could call on him. Gar even said, just call me and I'll be there. So that would be a thing too. So either, even if they didn't have a fifth season, that they would have had, the Red Hood spinoff would have kind of been a fifth season. But yeah, this was a nice ending to the series, which makes me wonder if they knew earlier than what they announced to everybody else that this was going to be the last season. So yeah, it's too bad we're not going to get more Red Hood. I just love the actor. I think his name is Curran. I just love him as Jason. He just was I just enjoyed him, even though he could be such a schmuck. There's just something about him. I mean, now that he's Red Hood, now that he seems to have gotten his shit together, I like him. Back when he was being all whiny because, he wasn't, the world wasn't giving him what he wanted, that annoyed me. But this Jason, the one who seems to be, completely comfortable in his own skin, this Jason I like. So it's too bad that we're not going to get more of him, because now that Teen Titans has been canceled, I don't think they're going to do that spinoff, which sucks. So hopefully James Gunn will see how well Curran did Jason Todd, and hopefully they will use this version, Curran's version of Red Hood, because in Brave and the Bold, it's Batman and Damian who came after Tim Drake. So it implies that Tim Drake exists, that Jason Todd exists. So in theory, they could still use those characters. So that would be nice. I mean, I love Tim. It's nice to see a superhero who can do, more than one thing, but at the same time needs a team. So I really liked him. I like all the characters, really. The only characters that I thought were Hawk and Dove. I was not. I mean, the actors, they only had what they had to work with, so I can't say anything about them, but there wasn't much there. So, but other than those two, I really like all these characters, so I hope that James Gunn somehow manages to incorporate these characters. So, I think that's all I have to say about this episode, and I will see you in the next video.